Welcome back, friends. One team has already qualified to the 6th Jönköping Major. That's BDS, but we still have one more potentially to qualify with our upcoming matchup. Wolves versus TT9 is where we go to. It's the Wolves and the Bears on the other side. And here we are. I'm Milos Dominic, your host. With me are Ann and Jack. And how about we talk about these two squads, starting off with Wolverhampton Wolves. I love me doing that. The Wanderers are in, I guess, the esports branch of it all. Ann, what are your thoughts on the team?
Well, this team is currently first in points. They got two very important wins last week, one against Heroic and one against Rogue, which are also some top contenders. The question is, can they keep up this good momentum? Because since Playday 3, their loss against G2, they haven't lost a game. Whereas last week, they seemed a little indecisive against Rogue in a few rounds, but after the tactical timeout that they took in round 3, they changed up their playstyle. They won 6 rounds in a row. Some very good personal performances from players on that team that eventually went to win that map. And historically, this matchup against TT9 is a little bit of a difficult one. It's always been victories for Wolves, but not the easiest, and I think that really shows the storyline for Wolves and also for TT9.
I love watching this team, and every time we go into the pre-game about them, I just praise them because I love watching the way that they brand themselves in terms of the siege, in terms of the team play, in terms of the executes that they do. I think it's such a well-rounded unit, maybe a slight flaw that, and I'll say it time and time, Mowgli gets a tremendous amount of freedom to do what he wants. And then the other 4 know that they can beat most teams in the 4v5. I might not like that element of it, but I certainly respect it because it wins them rounds so comfortably at times, and the remaining 4 players are just that good at winning the rounds. It's incredible to watch. Well,
let's see if they can pull it off today against TT9 on the other side. Jack, can you fill me in on the Russian squad?
Yeah, so TT9, rough stage. There's just no getting around this. Look at their own performance graph. They've lost every game. Look at how small the bars are in their own performance graph. They've been competitive in nearly every game, when losing by only 2 to 3 rounds in most of them. And I think it's progress, but is it progress enough? I'm not so sure. Obviously, when we come onto the player, the highlight bit of it, of the next screen that we're going on, we're going to see that Emission is positive. We're going to see that the rest of the team is negative. And it really is a complete story of this team, is that they've started to try and get people close to him, but realistically, it's a lot of desync, it's a lot of team play desync, it's a lack of problem solving for this team. And then add on top of that, they also get overwhelmed in the straight-up FPS gunfight element of this game. Add that all together, doesn't make for good reading.
Yeah, I'm not going to make that any better by adding a few more concerns I have for this team. Is they also have very little plans. We talked about teams earlier today that also have little plans, that have not necessarily that site or objective-focused siege. That is not something TT9 has either. They struggle to seek opportunities, and they struggle to, well, like you said, problem solving, because if they have a strat that works well, they're like, you know what, we'll try it again next round, and then they're surprised it doesn't work.
There's a really obvious one, and I don't know why this specific play just came into my mind, because it was when they played Eminem on Chalet. So we're talking about 4 or 5 game days ago. They were trying to deal with, I want to say it was Usus that was in the library. It was a bar attack, and they were trying to deal with Usus. He was tucked by the double window, right in the corner between the 2 windows. And they're trying to nade him, they're trying to flash him, trying to get him out. In the end, 3 of them jump through the window, and he just kills all 3. Oh, well, 2 jump through the window, he kills 2. And then toodaloo, another guy comes, jumps in the window and dies. And that kind of epitomizes the TT9 play at the minute, is that their problem solving really doesn't do them.
All right, let's see what happens then map-wise for our series. And who had the last say on which map we go to? That'll be Wolves. Bank is where they ban and take us to Cafe Dostoyevsky. All right, attacking starting side. Now TT9 played outsiders to Russian teams and Cafe Dostoyevsky. We mentioned it last week. And is this a surprise here for you, Saint Cafe?
No, but I see a massive advantage for Wolves. I think this starts with the fact that TT9 has a smaller map pool that they actually have, well, decent performing maps on. But if we look at the fact that Cafe comes through, I'm a little surprised about that, because Wolves currently has a 6-game win streak on this map, and arguably their best attacking and maybe defending win rate as well. So them starting out on attack is a really good start for Wolves. I'm quite concerned for TT9 that this has come through, honestly.
It's also it really does highlight the small map pool that TT9 have and operate with. But we are going to a map that TT9 likes. But our Wolves are playing the G2 strategy, where G2 went against TT9 when G2 went to TT9 on Clubhouse. Same bans, just beat them the same way the previous team did. Wolves kind of going to do the same thing. Obviously, TT9 lost Cafe on Thursday, so
Uphill battle
great.
for TT9. Wolves have all the intel on it, and they have the motivation that, hey, we just need a point and we're through to make it to the major. This is all going on Wolves' side. TT9, though, have a lot to run through. And Fresh, thank you very much. It's Wolves and TT9, and we swapped out. Ollie is in on the desk with Emmy on the side. Enjoy.
Yeah, a bit of Emmy on the side. Apparently. All right.
How's it going, Emmy, on the side?
It's all right. You take over.
You all right? You're just on the side?
Yeah, I'm just on the side. I'm the carrots.
I don't
to
know.
your
Of
main
all of
roast
Milosh's
beef.
throws, they just get more interesting, don't they, as the night goes
He
on?
insults me so often.
Yeah,
with his throws.
it's terrible.
I don't know if he means to, or if he's just
Starts
after
off on one
attention.
path and ends up on another.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I forget who it is on the other
We can't
side.
hear you anymore, Milosh. There's no point in you talking to us. You can't make your case
He even
now.
actually just doubled down. I could hear him. Hear him, and he said he forgets who's on the other side.
Right, yeah.
I'm not even.
As if I haven't been.
I have to
here in
look
this
again to
seat
see who it
for
is.
like 2 years. 2 years.
I'm old.
Okay.
The thing is, Milosh isn't even the oldest one here.
Milosh, I'm not gonna mix words. I'm really obvious. Look at me.
Look at me.
Yeah. We'll stick together.
Yes.
I like Des and Tim who are like, one of them's just got hair. That's the
Interchangeable.
difference. You're like, you pull it off, put it on the other one, and it's like, whoa, which one's which? I can't tell.
I was going to try and do my best tap impression, but I just didn't know if I didn't have a jumper.
No, you need a jump, you need glasses.
Yeah, I left my glasses at the hotel.
Terrible hap impression.
It was really bad.
Really bad start.
I didn't start well at all.
No. Can you do a demo impression?
No, I can't lose it like Demo does.
He was losing it in the last game.
Yeah, bless
He
him.
did have a full emotional.
He's had a rough night of things.
He's had a very rough night of things.
Certainly has.
He'll kind of put things together. Now Anne's making gestures. What's Anne saying?
I don't know. Anne's telling me I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah. Oh, your headset's on the wrong way around. Anne just absolutely destroyed you. You might think Anne's a sweetheart. She came over here. She points at you.
This is what
She
comes with
gestures. Then
being
she
put on the other side.
Then she makes hand gestures. I won't repeat on broadcast.
I wouldn't.
She swore at you.
Only when the cameras are off.
She's so mean. She's so mean. She goes, "Do you have a charm in this game?"
And all of us
And I
reply
said-
no.
And I say, "No, Anne. No, I don't."
Imagine.
It's because she's quite little. All of the fury is concentrated into
Compact.
a 4'5" frame. No, Anne, come back. We're lying. Everyone at home, we're lying. Anne is lovely.
But she does have a charm in the game.
She does have a charm in the game. She is lying about her name, though. She's apparently not very fast, which she admits. So, but the branding's already done. It's already done as fast down. Hey, we're in a game. TT9 versus Wolves. That's it.
Probably start.
Yeah, we
Talk
should probably
about
start. Hey, look at these statistics. TT9 cannot qualify. They're just playing for the sheer thrill. Wolves can. They just need to get 1 point, the same as the French brethren from the previous game, who did get 2. They kind of maybe should have had 3, but things sort of fell apart. Here, Wolves get to OT, and they will be our second confirmed team at the major.
TT9 back to Cafe we go. We saw them play Cafe against Outsiders last week.
Yeah.
Didn't go very well for them.
No.
But then again, things haven't really gone well for TT9 throughout the entire Stage 3. They currently sit in 10th. This is a proper top versus bottom affair. Flores and Valkyrie removed from TT9. Thatcher and Cade on the flip side from Wolves. So with those bans, you're expecting both sides to be relatively wide open in what you can bring. We're already seeing the Doge be brought from Shinka. Doge being an operator that we've seen have quite a hefty ban rate of recent week.
Wolves, what I want from you this game is to reignite the memory and idea that you can attack. We've kind of seen a bit of a shaky day for our top teams throughout this performance, including, well, the one that is qualified at this point. So, starting off here, where's the lead in? There's the first. Scythe is able to get one out. The grenade just does a sliver of damage, but Rise at least gets revenge for the death onto P4 in the entry, something Wolves do very well. His very quick responses, threaded and repeats. Look at this, the instant pressure. Mowgli driving his way up brown stairs towards Pillar, holding off the angle and hoping he's still undetected.
If there was something that you were going to ban in this game, for me it would be the Nook, because you do not want to give Mowgli any excuse to play Nook and be sneaky. He can be very slippy on the Nook, as demonstrated. He's already got himself in and gained a good deal of ground, but The defenders have smelt a rat, and they have submitted and gone back up to that top floor. And with the kind of topsy-turvy approach that Wolves have taken here, now they need to get on that roof, and they need to start trying to work those hatches a little bit more. We do see a little bit of a presence up here as a call comes through, but Mowgli still threatening from below.
Slow and steady. The worrisome creep of Mowgli is always the bit of a danger here. He's a player that can have these unbelievable performances. And the hot drone around the swing might just reveal the next potential kill. He's pretty happy to wait. You can see there's a bit of a presence, not too far away from the laundry hatch itself. They need something to draw some attention away, however. If it's just Mowgli versus the world can pay a lot of attention. If suddenly there's a bit of a firefight coming down from the opposite balcony or onto this, the pressure behind the back of Lumber, the bounce of the grenade doesn't quite get the catch. He's going to see if he can push the barb as the swing is held there by the player on the window. Nico's able to win out though. Rise goes cold, including the kit outside white window. It's a little bit of a hop rotate, but Mowgli's going to see if he can fight his way through. It's a dock. You got to get it locked, and Nico's there to at least get the response.
You look at what that's done as well in terms of distraction for the rest of Wolves. They've all tried to assist Mowgli in getting in there, and it's left him extremely light. BB with a desperate attempt to hop on in, and it leaves Shinka in the clutches. Sure, he finds himself one kill. He's got 30 seconds to go, but we already know the diffuser's cold on the ground. There's still information onto his location. He swings and takes down Exodus. This is actually quite doable now for Shinka, although he is on 1 HP. Does he have the glimpse? Think he got a glimpse there of WTG just on the other side of Bathroom. He's going to have to take this as a heads-up engagement, but he's going up against the mirror window. Another stun flies out, gets caught out inside of the Banshee. He's going to try and pre-fire this, but yet another bulletproof. Goes for the pre-fire, but is unsuccessful. He needs to land a couple of well-timed bullets here, but he's not being given the opportunity. WTG with a shotgun swing to close things out.
Just enough information there from the side of TT9. They had the eyes. They obviously had the bulletproof camera there. He saw a sliver, but the mirror windows, the kind of strange hold. You don't always see so much set up in just that little pocket. There was no real lockdown onto the Lumber side as well. They had a chance at swinging themselves in, but the approach from Wolves scuppered a little bit. To be fair, from Wolves, one of the big problems that you'll see throughout their own seasons, regardless of how the match ends, it often starts a bit slow, a bit cautious. They were trying to break through against a TT9 team that definitely showed up with a vengeance on what they wanted to do from what happened last time round. It came down to a bit of a race on time there, but can they try and put a second round in a row and thread some distance here down on the ground floor?
I'm not going to say alarm bells. You've kind of got to be worried at Wolves' approach there.
Oh, I know. Yeah, but it's also one round.
That's what I said. I'm not going to say alarm bells.
I'm not going to say it, but you're going to...
I'm going to insinuate it.
Yeah.
If it happens again...
It's like, what's that sound?
We're going to press the button.
I don't know what that sound is.
And it isn't the start game button.
But there is a sound. But I don't know what that sound is. 1-0. TT9. Wolves, I mean, they have a chance. This is, again, also ties into the thing of I want to see a team we expect to be at the major...
Do well?
Do well. And that's sort of the meat and potatoes of it is now that we're getting a shape of who is going to be at the major, the teams that are close. It's coming down to the last play days, but still, we are getting this idea. You want to see them succeed. You want to see them do well. TT9 cannot progress, obviously. They've lost every single game throughout this. There's not anything that can get them there at this point. So Wolves still step up. They're going to give you a game. Make a game of it.
We've seen a lot of value gained out of P4's shock drone there. Managed to remove a couple of ADSs. He's maybe looking for more. Just keeping an eye out for any cameras or anything that may be out there. Although, you know, Valkyrie's banned, so his attention is more likely going to be on those magnets, of which he's been able to remove 1 and 3 ADSs. So the nades now can rain in for free. Won't be stopped by anything. An attempt here from Mowgli, just trying to nade out close inside a coat check. The drone will come through and confirm his suspicions.
Emission, though, he does more than that and takes the head off of Mowgli all the way from the back end. Exodus is going to try and creep in and put some pressure onto the replacement. I assume they're able to pick apart that Twitch drone. Scyther picks apart Rise. He's able to get a second. Last time round, he was taken apart on the back end of his kill. This time, Wolves do not have a response. TT9, they've got themselves locked in and they're sort of pushing back out a little bit, trying to retake some of the pressure onto Mud. They've still got themselves locked around VIP and the bottom of it. Ibu's going to see if he can try and apply some pressure. Does more than that. Takes the player as well. And now with a minute 20, P4, can they try and force out Nico?
P4's just trying to keep himself safe with the smokes at the minute, just give himself one less line of sight to worry about. He knows that somebody's likely still in coat check, and it looks as though he's unsure as to the status of the bar player. Does get the yellow ping, and the pre-fire is able to come through. Shinka picks up one and immediately flips and turns the tide here for Wolves.
God, that was a bit of filth put on the back of a yellow ping, and now 50 seconds, and suddenly the body balance is back in their favor. Wolves took a beat, took a breath, and then took the 3 players out in front of them. Now they've been able to get some semblance of the site, but itself is still a stretch away. One is inside, locked in. The second, Exodus, playing a pretty dangerous position. If he goes unchecked here, then he should be an easy pickup. They have a route out and doesn't quite make it. Suddenly only singly a mission left. Has a C4 still in pocket and 20 seconds to try and waste along with it. Wolves aren't overacting. They're not overreaching. They're still keeping themselves steady on this. You can see they're watching the back in the rotation. They're getting themselves droned out. 15 seconds. The C4 over the top. Doesn't quite make it, but it wouldn't have popped anyway. Wolves, they find a response. Cancel the alarm bells.
We can cancel the alarm bells.
Cancel the bells.
Still, how long have you been... That's going to be world record for how long someone's played inside a coat check.
Really was dedicated to checking those codes.
He was...
Checking every number.
Yeah, making sure that you had your ticket.
Gotta make sure you got your ticket.
And does it match the ticket on the coat?
Otherwise, no coat.
No coat for
No
you.
ticket, no coat.
Then the rules.
On your bike. Coatless.
Don't leave any valuables in your coat either.
Hey, we'll see if TT9 can try and make magic happen the second time inside the kitchen. Pretty much the same loadout across the board here. We'll maybe get a little bit of a difference in terms of the Azami and how they're going to set themselves up. The grenade was the sort of start of that. Played onto the back against, obviously, the position of VIP. They were able to then steadily sort of clear their way across. 2 quick kills in the blink of an eye, and Wolves had brought themselves back into the round.
Wolves are going for very minimalistic takes here. They're not looking to do anything too fancy. They're not going for vertical. That's something that we didn't see at all in round number 2. We didn't see any use of the sledge upstairs, albeit Rise got taken out fairly early. The sledge was lost, so that may have been a reaction to what had happened. But again, you look back to round number 1, it was very laser focused on the white stairs. They're just getting one thing in their mind, the tunnel visioning on this one push and one approach, and we've seen there it can work. You can make that sort of a push work. Bringing the Monty now almost cements that fact that they are going to be channeling. They are going to be tunneling into this one singular approach.
Well, once again, the ADS is full. There's no shield this time around, but there's a woman who has the ability to kind of make them. This is what I said, though. They might try and play themselves slightly differently. Scyther, though. Oh, no. That was a very dangerous place to try and take a seat for a second. The grenade was the first warning sign. The bullets flying towards you with a second. Nico, he's going to see if he can actually step in, retake a little bit of control here, where the Azami was dropped. Bibu with the massive French shield on the far end is going to make things a little bit more problematic, because the pick has been slightly different here. As you said before, they didn't go for the vertical last time. This time, they're not going to mess around checking their coats in. Instead, 2, 3 grenades. Do they think it's clear? 4 grenades.
I mean, surely now they know they've got the human drone in there. There is a lot that has been spent here to root out poor old Nico. He can be yellow pinged forever now as Bibu has the heads up. Eventually helps finish him off as Mowgli was putting in some shots previously. Bit of a disastrous round here, all things considered, from TT9. They cannot keep hold of anything. The map and the control, like a wet piece of soap in their hands, fumbling every which way. Amision, he gets himself taken out. Who other than Mowgli's finished off the job? A flawless round there from Wolves. Entirely different to what we've seen up until this point.
Yeah, now I'm starting to hear the other side of those bells, but that's what we kind of expected. It's what we sort of wanted. The amount of times we sort of say we want to see a demonstration of power. You want to sort of see, well, this is what you can do, this is what we can do. If you're sending your best teams, you want to send them hot. You want to send them with a bit of a statement piece that people fear them. That's what we want from Wolves. Wolves, a team who, on their sort of major appearances, hasn't quite been able to hit the mark that we would hope. Topping the board before, pretty much undefeated. And then, you know, watching G2 and Rogue play from the grandstands, you want to make sure that they're keeping this sort of pace, that they're hitting the boards over and over. TT9 that time round, they were sort of lost out. If I said Wolves started a bit sleepy sometimes, by that round, they were ferocious.
And I think that's how you've got to play against TT9, because we know them to be a very passive team. We know them to be a team that are happy to sit back and let things happen to them when they're on the defense. You throw Monty into that mix, you throw Mowgli on an upside-down repel, it doesn't matter how many Azami Kiba barricades you've got. If you've got nades, and you've got burn, and you've got a Monty and information, good night. You know, you can very quickly and effectively deal with these TT9 players. That's exactly what Wolves showed us there in round number 3. They're now going to be going slightly different site. Getting rid of the old kitchen, saying, you know what, we'll give it a break down there.
Yeah.
We're instead going to extend ourselves onto the top floor and defend the mid floor.
This mirror hold again with the castle giving them a bit of this extension, as he said. The site itself is reading. They've prepped that castle for a potential jump out, so they can try and maybe get a surprise factor, or hope that somebody drifts by, punches it once, suddenly they're right caught in the midst of things, and they can be taken out quite quickly. Does seem like Wolves, though, are going to pay a little bit of attention to a default take over the top of red stairs, the main balcony, see if they can start shepherding some of the players across as they eye up the chance of Pillar's Wall.
We've seen P4 get so much value out of these Twitch shock drones, loads of damage there, getting pumped into Exodus, and that may have been from Mowgli on these red stairs. BB going to be on the roof now, looking to try and remove some of this utility.
Wrong one.
I mean, all the right one, in case you think that there's a catch there.
In case you think there's a catch
there.
there.
You never know, there might be an ADS there or something.
Okay,
We'll give the benefit of the doubt.
We'll give the benefit of the doubt.
But yeah, probably the wrong one. Once again, we're seeing the value out of the shock drone. Sure, it's a default camera on the first floor, but still, utility removed and information gathered. It's allowing P4 now to make his way up these brown stairs, and already he's got himself into quite a key position.
I mean, this is very quick. As we said, they were sort of eyeing up the wall that leads right onto reading. Mowgli eyed up the end of Exodus, finally found the last couple of bullets to get the kill from before, and with Zulu falling away from them, we talked about how we didn't see Wolves going for the top floor on the approaches on the previous sites onto Kitchen. It's the same thing here. They've sort of said, well, they can have a little pocket of vertical. Let's try and put some pressure onto the site itself. They're looking for the long-range fight. The player onto the rotate towards Wash. P4 caught out a bit whilst on his drone, pulls himself around a corner, and Nico takes a fraction of grenade damage. Mowgli missed the moment that he could have caused some magic, but does find himself inside the site. Can't quite get the connection. No, I'm wrong, and he is terrifying. He swings, gets Nico, and he's still looking for a fight. The plant is being put down in the corner of reading. WTG has no idea of the angle, hoping he can get somebody. It's a post plant.
How has the plant gone down? BB, he's going to pick up a kill onto Cypher. WTG, I think he knows where the plant's gone, but he's maybe waiting for a little bit of backup here. He can rotate through laundry, but he has to be careful of the reading door. Player still on the bomb, is going to be there and free for the taking. Can the shots be landed? Yes, they can. WTG pre-fires onto the door, expecting the second. Because Wolves didn't take vertical, there's no guarantee there's vertical above this plant. So if they're able to try and isolate a couple of these attackers, maybe they've got a chance. But P4 is there, tucked away in the corner. He's got great eyes on the diffuser, and he's going to find the final kill as well, regardless of the trade.
3-1, and with a plant as the last one there, it was very well sort of played by Wolves. As we commented, they saw a pocket of space, they saw a route through to the site, and they saw it early. We got a great taste of where the drones are rolling from, what they had their eyes on, and where they wanted to sort of set itself up. They're not messing around with the stretch play of TT9. And we're seeing it across multiple different sites. It's good prep combined with good intuition of, well, this is free, it's ours. We don't need all the other bits. We trust our cover and our gunfights to win out in case they try and swing back in. Let's get this rocked. And you can see TT9 is sort of a little bit lost.
It's very difficult when you set up the majority of your utility, manpower, focus, and energy into a top floor hold that then doesn't get touched.
2 mirror windows, shield onto 90, I believe. They had, obviously, connections for any of the throne. They had castles. And all we saw from that was Zafir hitting one castle and then going, okay, well, now we have the angle above where we want to plant. We don't need to worry about anything else. And that was the one thing. If you're looking down, top down, where they planted on that corner, all they needed was that door open. And then they could watch anyone going for the swing over that. It was all they needed to take on verticality, and they said, done.
Bold strategy can maybe be construed as it's either genius or it's lazy.
Or arrogant.
Or arrogant.
Yeah.
It's one of the three, isn't it?
One of the three.
It's It's the old adage of give a very difficult job to the laziest person you know and they will find the easiest way of doing it.
Yeah.
And they took as little as they needed to get the job done.
What you can also say is it's like electricity, which takes the path of least resistance.
It is. And, you know, that's maybe going to work against a team like TT9, and it has done. But you need more. You need to show more depth, because only a couple of things need to go wrong in that situation for things to just really fall behind the wayside. But Wolves are getting away with it here, as we, no doubt expected them to.
Now, this is the one risk, because there's no top floor for this, so Wolves. They struggled here before. Maybe that's why. There wasn't a top floor for them to ignore. They have to go in directly onto the site itself without any way to ignore otherwise setups, and we'll see if they've changed anything up. As I said, they're sometimes slow to start, but they warm up, find energy. TT9, they've taken their time out now. They're going to see if they can try and at least pull this back to an even half. WTG.
Don't do it.
Oh, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? The calls are there. The C4's delivered from the top, but Rise has already pulled away.
We're going to see players retreat to the safety of those mute jammers now to cleanse them of the Dokkaebi phone call. Mowgli taking up his trademark location in and around the bottom of these white stairs. Now, this was a big part of the focus in round number 1 from Wolves. They threw everything at making sure that Mowgli could get up these white stairs, and as we can see, there's a lot of utility there. Loads of barbed wire, Banshee, Wub Wub, and a mute jammer. But it didn't work. It was just throwing all of your eggs into that one basket. Now, this time at least, it looks as though Wolves are taking things a little bit more separately. We've got Bibu underneath Newhatch. He's got a nice line here if he should wish into Piano. There are a couple of players there over on the other side of Piano. How is P4 getting the plant down, and where? He's inside of Cocktail here, Fluke.
He's just found a corner, and this is once again Wolves saying, well, we've got enough, let's pull back. They've got a couple of players on East, they've got the swing round, and one goes down in the fight itself. Nico's able to at least win the revenge, but with Skylight held, with 2 players above, they're just waiting for the movements to come round. White Stairs is in their control. Emission does take out a Shinka. P4 is able to get Emission back in, and he's still holding on to the kit that he put down. Exodus, he's trying to rotate around the back. Mowgli had the idea, and this is excellent attacking. And you can say it's the path of least resistance. You can say they're sort of doing just enough, but they're doing it so well that it is more than enough.
I said it's either lazy or genius.
Yeah.
It's crossed that line. It is just opportunistic siege. No one's in Cocktail, guys. The wall's reinforced. I've got a reinforced wall to plant behind, and I have someone on rappel holding for me.
And they had no idea.
No info.
No info.
No clue. TT9 are setting up this game of siege where they are just not quite blindly setting up utility, but it's almost as if Wolves are just reading into it and going, yeah, they've got something there, we'll just go here.
It's like when you're doing a puzzle book right now, and Wolves have found the easy Sudokus. And they're sort of smashing through them right now. They're putting down, oh, there's a 2, there's a 4, there's a 5 down the box, down the line. And it's really, really well put together puzzle solving. As you said, they're looking towards weakness and they're exploiting it live. We get to see them run the numbers and the mental math. And for a Playday in EUL where attacks have been lacking just that panache, just that little bit of flair and that little bit of solidity, Wolves, after a false start, are more than happy to take up the hurdles and hop over all of them.
Maybe that's why we're so amazed, because the attacks today have been pretty so-so. Maybe we're
So-so is a nice way of putting it off the back of the GG.
Bowled over by Wolves. These guys are pioneers. Pioneers of siege right now.
Best attacking statistics
Best in the world. They've got 4 attacking rounds on Cafe. You must be joking me.
Fresh is currently right now in the green room, sitting back, and he's going, oh, I said they were the best attackers in the league.
Yeah.
Currently, they're maybe the only attackers in the league. The take starts over the top floor. Once again, towards the fight there that will careen itself across. They're looking down the hatches. They know that they're not going to get away with the sneaky plant this time round. So instead, the pressure's going to come elsewhere. Still some pressure onto the opposite side, but it still starts here. The drive down. Let the players in on red. Do some of the busybody work that you expect to be able to do. As maybe Exodus is under the bottom, potentially rotating a bit closer to cause some trouble in a second around pillars.
Nade going to roll on through there to remove the Banshee. Could be looking at a more default plant spot here, given the positioning of the Wolves members. Exodus below is going to be a little bit of a problem that does need to be dealt with, though. He's got a great line of sight, but why is that barricaded? That has just cost him. P4 going to pick himself up one for free off the back of a bit of good drone information on a pre-place. Scyther holding a long angle this time, not going to look to give away that cocktail control so easily, but we do get a kill back.
Yeah, Mission's able to dig one out, and there's the response. Mowgli, he's not happy to let that fight sit. Instead of being on Nook underground this time, he's Iana trying to fight directly towards the site itself and being that tip of the blade that they were missing the first time round. P4, stop it. Takes the head off the Scyther from the long range, pulls himself back, as does Nico, trying to get some safety here around the lumber side and the back of the stairs. They've got 2 players left. And the Wolves might not be surrounding and circling this time, but they keep taking these little bites and then disappearing. You can still see TT9 are trying to piece together just where the next Wolf is going to put their fangs into them. Oh, and it was almost there.
P4's really looking to exploit that long angle for as much as he can. We're seeing the smokes come through now and the hop in from Rise. WTG, he's got it all to do, but P4 eventually connects. He had to push up and play a little bit more aggro, hopped himself onto the bench, and eventually will be rewarded. Wolves, 5-1 split here on the attack.
It's been an excellent half a siege for them. There's no sort of two ways about it. You can sort of see the moments that TT9 are trying to piece things together and get a response in, but it's so quickly shut down. Against other teams, maybe TT9 will be able to get a little bit more distance. They've had fights on this map, but they've been able to do just that. But here, if you see a fight with a Wolf, you know that at least 2 more are in a position to try and take it. And sometimes they'll see a fight with you before you even know it. That position there, played by Exodus around Pillar, sure, that door was reinforced. He couldn't get through it at that point, and he thought he might be able to pull it down and get there, but there's somebody instantly there. This is what I'm talking about, where TT9 were struggling to piece together just where Wolves were. They have a little bit more to work with on their attack. They can be in that control of the intel and information. Will it work, though?
Is the counter at the top left, correct? 1 drone?
Oh.
Say it ain't so.
5 seconds left before.
Say it ain't so, TT9.
Just quickly... no.
There we go. Okay.
No, 4 or 5?
So we lost 1.
I'm so confused.
I'm confused. I was worried then, because I was looking at that and thinking, Wolves did a fantastic job on their drone game.
Yeah.
A lot of their kills came off the back of really good information, whether that be pre-placed, whether it be active drone in, whatever it might have been.
Yeah, they only lost 1.
We can see that they have brought a bulletproof this time, which is fairly typical for Cafe, especially with a Valkyrie being banned. They haven't got the most info here on the old defense, but somewhere that we have seen TT9 struggle is in that drone department.
Yep.
It is somewhere that week after week, time after time, they regularly fall short, and it's one of the big things that stops them from being so successful on the attack.
Mowgli, bit of a dangerous dance here onto 90, but it always is. Instead of waiting for them to try and lean in with utility, he wants to catch them mid-throw and mid-swing. There's a lot of ADSs to burn out, as well as the discs tucked a little bit in front of him. It's a battle for attrition, one that if you've been watching Siege for at least a year, you'll remember being a lot worse when we had this sort of game and juggle around the old ADS system, where this would be the fight for 2.5 minutes. This time, not quite as long, but look at Mowgli's positioning. He's pulled himself back. He's hoping they expect him in this position. We just had another ADS potentially pop into a bit of life. That was a bit short. There's an angle in a fight, and he's still here, happy to keep leaning in, swinging. More catches, more charges, more control. How much has been thrown at this, and nothing has been gained, TT9?
3 stuns, 2 nades, 1 of the Ash Breaching rounds. It's just the majority of your utility.
It's just most of it.
It's just nearly all of it.
Now they only have 5 drones left.
Mowgli will start playing a little bit aggro here, gets a chance and is taken down, punished for his over-aggression. He should have sat behind the shield, it was still safe. But no, he went looking for a little bit more. Nico on the upside-down repel to add on to that pain. Maybe he isn't going to get gifted the same opportunity twice. Shinka with a C4 from below. Could try and throw it out the window, maybe deal with the repel player.
I think it's a very important thing here with TT9. They've sort of gone, we couldn't take the pixel shield, we'll pull ourselves back, and the worst present to have delivered. Exodus knocked off the board. Hasn't quite been able to make the contribution. Rise suffers a bit of a bad end of an explosion, but is able to keep himself swinging. Talking of, B4 swing and then is swung, but Rise does get Scyther in the meantime. Emission's on a double kill, and he hasn't had to move too far, takes down Rise. Great take through onto the back line just by the side of the mirror. And at this point, the players that TT9 have been able to catch from the side of Wolves are the ones that have thrown themselves out of position to be punished. Here, the back line has rotated itself towards White Corridor. One around the bathroom looking for it, and they're just going to tuck the plant and go for the cover under the E1D. The response might come through, a bit of a pre-fire over the bow, and the 2 versus 2. There's the first take. Is he looking for the second emission? He's done a massive play and an ace for this team before to clutch them back into a game and a round. He's looking just for the last to find it. They're tucked around the corner. They doesn't quite get it, a 1 versus 1. You can see he's shaking his head. They're holding on. They're going for the defuse. Shinka, is he just going to keep it all the time? No, he pulls himself off, gets the kill somehow, and there it is, clutched back from the brick. A couple of wry smiles and an expression from Shinka like, didn't expect that, but I'll take it.
Shinka giving us a real sort of oops face there, like, I actually did it, oops. That maybe wasn't in the plan, maybe wasn't in the script. We've seen both these two teams have fantastic clutches so far. Wolves, 6 points. Guess what? That guarantees them for the major. Congratulations. Now do one better than BDS and walk away with a full 3.
I mean, this is it really at this point. That shouldn't have been their round, but only shouldn't have been their round because of Amision almost getting an ace. That's the main sort of threat.
And that's the problem, isn't it?
And that's the problem. That's that sort of thing there. Although TT9 was so close, you know, a round 1 by an ace is a sort of cherry on the top. You still got to construct the rest of the cake. Otherwise, you're just eating a glacier cherry. And that's not a full meal.
They're not bad on their own.
They're not bad on their own, but just one,
Nah.
that wouldn't satisfy you. That wouldn't take you over the line of this is a comfortable dessert. You'd be disappointed.
You'd maybe have the jar.
You'd have the whole jar of glacier cherries. And your doctor would be mad. Wolves, they are confirmed. Both are French teams. Congratulations, you're going to Sweden. Get on that Swedish plane. Get your clogs.
Well, let's see if they can go the whole way here and pick up a full 3 points. Would highly doubt at this point that it ends in anything other than a regulation win here for Wolves, given that they have 5 rounds in which to achieve that match point. And they're going to be playing rather slippy now on the defense. We can see that there's a fairly wide extension here, and although it isn't backed up and bolstered with a lot of utility,
Yeah.
they have a little bit of maybe movable or sort of active utility that they can place down. We've got P4 with the Kiba barricades. And they're looking to play upstairs and really force TT9 into this drone game, somewhere that we have commented before that they do tend to struggle.
I mean, look at that. The first drone taken out around the top. The second is going to find its way in. A fight right under the skylight, and still P4 is able to slip away. We joked about how they were sort of allergic to floors that weren't the site on their attacks, and here they're trying to keep off the floor as lava. The fight starts around the break onto Whiskey. Mowgli's still holding the angle just from that little Christmas tree and speaker in the corner. As another player drops down into the red hatch, and Amision's able to find the first. Bibu caught out, and the room is starting to be punished.
Now they've only got 1 drone left. Now this is a big problem. We're not even at the halfway point in the round, and kills are starting to fly. Scyther, he is going to trade back. Shinka is going to take Nico out prior to that, though. Still an advantage here for TT9, but they have no way of knowing where P4 is. He's tucked inside of Cigar Shop, and he's essentially waiting for his time to strike here.
That's it. Do they know? That's the big question. He has impact if he wants to make a quick escape. There's a player watching the rotate up on red. P4's hoping he can catch somebody that crosses and then drop the hatch and escape. But nobody is currently coming that way. His only lead-in might be a bit of a fight to happen a little bit later. He could not be in a position where he can try and make a bit of movement, because at that point, you know the player that's sitting on the top of red will have a quick response. They'll be able to find it. It is 2 ships passing in the night. Somehow both have fit into the top of a cafe, and the first is actually starting to drift a little bit to the side. Down red. P4 can hold his breath and wait.
Located by attackers.
It really comes down to P4's nerve here and how his teammates do on the site, because don't forget, they've got the pressurizing job now of being in a 2 versus 4, essentially. For as long as P4's out on that roam, he isn't able to assist. He's going to get a glimpse there, but be patient. This is brilliant play from P4, but look at the claymores he has to navigate. He could still maybe get himself around there, picks himself at one onto a mission, removes the claymore, but all the meanwhile, the plant is going down. The players on the side, they were left a little bit light, and Shinka couldn't hold off. He knows where the plant's gone down. He's likely got an idea as to where the players are holding inside of a post, but he too is creeping up gently, picks the head onto WTG, but looks for more. P4, you need to activate, you need to get yourself down these stairs and see if you can try and assist the team. Scyther caught out inside of the freezer, isn't going to have the line, does get a glimpse of the feet, however, but all the damage may be done as P4 swings, picks at one onto Exodus. Scyther now has made his way out of the freezer, grabs one, 13 seconds left to go. Not a lot of time for P4 to pick this kill, but he does it! He's got plenty of time to disable that diffuser. Another clutch coming in here for Wolves. P4, what a flank!
No. P4, you said he was a bit too slow. Most would agree, but one man says, I arrived precisely when I meant to. Took the last fight, the kills, and pulled TT9 off of a cafe they'd probably sooner forget. They take themselves to the major, and I think they do more than just that. What a statement from one of our top 4 today.
P4 was at the game of his life there. He's played fantastically well, not only on the defense there in those final couple of rounds, but I highlighted him on the attack, on the twitch, loads of value out of those shock drones. Wolves look like the full outfit today. They really looked as though they were playing with their food.
It's a team that we wanted to see succeed at that point, and it's a bit of a rough day from TT9. They had some holds and some ideas, but as soon as the momentum was found, the pack was circling, and the blood was drawn. We'll go for a quick break before we're back with the desk to break that down.